properly drafting shareholder agreements. There is nothing more important if you have a number of people who've invested in a company to making sure that your shareholder agreement is properly drafted. We often get people come to us say, hey, read this agreement that we're put together for ourselves. Usually not the most cost-effective way of doing things, because now we're reviewing a document and not only looking at what's there, but trying to identify all the things that are missing from it. It's usually much more cost-effective to get the lawyer to draft it from scratch on their own, because then they can start with the base of what they know is there and then custom tailor it to you and your business and your shareholders to make sure you have a properly drafted shareholder agreement. The other thing that we come into when people come to us for properly drafted shareholder agreements is they'll say, this is too long. We don't want a 40-page agreement or 30-page agreement. We want an agreement that's 2 pages. That's much simpler. In those instances, we are happy to sit down with our client and we'll go through paragraph by paragraph. We'll explain to them the pros and cons of having it in there and then leave it for them to decide. 99.9% of the time, our client will then say, you know what, that's probably a really good thing to have in there. I didn't think of that. And that's how it goes together. It's not an instantaneous process. It's not a process that is one size fits all where, oh, we'll just take it off the shelf and here's your properly drafted shareholder agreement. No, it's very different than that. They do have to be custom drafted to each situation. Some companies have a lot more involvement with the shareholders where they're actively working inside of the business. Others, they're just investors. They've just put in money. Or you have a combination of both and no one wants to feel taken advantage of. Also, people have different ideas about what's important to them and the business and how things should be run generally. And so all these issues are addressed to make sure that agreement between all the shareholders really reflects everyone's intentions and sets out the rules for when things are going well, but also when things don't go so well. Having that properly drafted shareholder agreement can keep you from years of litigation and fighting between shareholders just by thinking in advance and having it all in place.